Hey, what's up, beautiful warriors? It's Citlalli, and I have my very first Q&A video. Super excited. This has been suggested throughout the years, and I was just like, I don't know, you know. But finally, a couple of you suggested it again, and I think it's a great idea because I do get common questions repeatedly. So I think it's a great way to answer them, and hopefully I'm going to try to do this brief. I'm going to answer 10 of the most common questions that I've received. And I'm going to do my best to not make this video so long. Okay, so question number 1. How did you start decolonizing? Okay, so I was in 10th grade. And I was a singer of a punk band. And my lyrics, I performed a song at a local church where we had a gig. And the lyrics said something like, Inmigración, revolución, somos iguales, aunque seamos ilegales. And it was a dope song. It was a dope song. And at the end, these guys came up to me. They were members of the club at that point, which I didn't know about, called Chicano Mexicano Mexica Empowerment Committee, which was chapter of Mexica movement at the high school. And they handed me a flyer, and the flyer said, Mexican, not Hispanic, Latino, learn your true history and identity. And I was like, what? Like, it just like completely blew my mind, because I was like, what are they talking about? And as impacted as I was like, oh yeah, I'll read it later, you know? So I went home, I remember, and I took out the flyer because I had like, you know, bunched it up. And I was like, what the heck are they talking about? Like, how can 95% of our population be killed and we don't know it? Anyway, so I asked my mom, and she was like, what? No, you don't say eso. And I was like, wait a second. How did all this happen? And we don't know about it. So anyway, it was very impactful. It was very emotional. And then I remember going to the first club meeting, and I'm sitting there and I'm listening to them talk about the accomplishments, talk about the genocide, talking about not Hispanic, Latino. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, why didn't I know this? Like, you know, I was kind of, you know, awake on some issues like animal rights, and I was a feminist, and, you know, so I was like anti-racist. And in the 9th grade, they actually had taken us to the Museum of Tolerance, and one of our counselors actually spoke to us about being a survivor of the Jewish Holocaust. So that I was very aware of, you know, and to then the next year learn about your own genocide, I mean, it's big. You know, I still have the letters that I typed up, I remember, and I still have the poetry book that I wrote about that experience, about just feeling that emotional, like detox, I guess, like just feeling like, oh my goodness, like it makes sense, like everything that I'm reading here. And it was through the Mexica Handbook, which I read immediately right away. I was like, what the fuck? Like, what is going on here? And like I said, I was critical, but I started studying. I read the recommended books, and I was like, wow, like we got a lot of work to do. And so that was back in like 96. So it's been a while. It's been over 20 years that I started my decolonization journey. Okay, number 2, how has your family reacted to your decolonization? Just to let you know that even before my awareness of decolonization, I was already like kind of critical of Christianity and Catholicism. So they already kind of saw me like, esta ta loca, you know, but I was just like, it just didn't make sense to me. And like, I had questions, and I didn't want to go to church. And so this, you know, decolonization, this new knowledge, it just really kind of heightened that aspect of my thinking. Like, wait a second, like it all makes sense, and this religion doesn't make sense to me, and it makes sense why it doesn't, because it doesn't come from our history, it doesn't come from our making, and it doesn't liberate us. And so my family, you know, they've already kind of seen all this stuff, you know, she's not all like pro-church. And so when I came across with this, I started talking about this, they're like, oh yeah, it kind of goes with her nature, you know. And I think it's as I've learned, as I've grown, as I matured, I've learned to really establish myself, really be assertive about where I am, and to more than anything share this information, not come across and not try to, you know, shove it down their throat, but more like invite them, you know. And I gotta say, like now, I have family members that share my videos. I have family members that will text me, oh, I saw you on TV, or, you know, Mija, be careful out there. Like, it's been beautiful, you know, it's been a beautiful process from barely waking up and decolonizing and starting my journey to now. And so it just yeah, just remain positive, remain assertive, and just know that we're all in this, you know, we're all healing, we're all damaged. And so yeah, so anyway, so that's been my experience. Question about religion, with the impact it has on our people today. So with religion, like I kind of referenced earlier, I am not Catholic or Christian. Years ago, I probably would respond very differently to this question. But honestly, in the last 2-3 years, I have studied more about the process of how our people were forcefully converted to Christianity and Catholicism, and learning the brutal ways that our people were just systematically indoctrinated into this has really allowed me to gain a deeper awareness of just how deep this goes, you know, just how damaging it is. And like, for example, like they would do public executions of anyone that was practicing Nicantlaka ways, like as minimal as it could have been. And just imagine being persecuted, just imagine being killed for trying to continue a tradition that has been yours for thousands of years. Like seeing your grandparents, seeing the leaders, the leadership, the priests, the priestesses, like publicly executed. I mean, it takes a toll on a group of people, you know? And so I try to be a lot more compassionate. I try to be a lot more considerate. But at the same time, we have to hold the church accountable. We have to hold them accountable because they have been the right hand of white supremacy. And as much as we understand and we should be compassionate about our people and our own, you know, impact with this religion, we do have to confront it, and we do have to expose it. So it's a little complicated, but I think the most important is to stay considerate, to be compassionate, and to stand your ground and to speak on the truth, because we need to keep speaking on it, and just understand that not everyone knows this information. And once they know and they still want to be Catholic or Christian, then that's them. You know, we can't go out and try to get everyone to decolonize, and we you know, that's definitely an ideal, but we have to understand really how devastating that aspect is. And that's a personal decision people make to continue their path with that religion. But like I said myself, the more I learn, the more I share, the more information that I'm getting on the process, it's just it's very sad, you know, it's a very sad reality. But I try to be very positive as well with it and say, no, like, you know, this is a reality of what happened. This is what the church did. This is what they're doing. And we should hold them accountable. Okay, question number 4. Where do we start decolonizing? That's a great question. Everyone's journey is different. Everyone has different interests. Everyone is learning different ways to decolonize. Some people learn through art. Some people learn through primary sources. That's me. Some people learn through whatever aspect it is. I would strongly urge you to read American Indian Contributions to the World by Keoki. It's an awesome book that gives you an A through Z list of Nicantlaka accomplishments from pre-invasion to contemporary. And a great book also would be Mexico by Michael D. Cole and American Holocaust. I definitely recommend that book. And then maybe a newer publication is The Other Slavery by Andres Reséndez. And I will link those books beneath in this description box for you. So I recommend that you start, especially what interests you. And also, I think this is really big. Read the primary sources yourself. Try to read the letters of Columbus. Try to read the letters of Cortez. And try to read Raza Cósmica by Jose Vasconcelos. When you read the actual original writings pertaining to our people, it's all there. Like, you will pick it up right away. Like, you see what we're talking about. And so that's, I think, number 1. Because the primary sources from that time, which is 15th century, 16th century, it's kind of a small archive, right, of primary sources. But at the same time, history is expanding. There's a lot more sources coming out. And I think when you read it yourself, when you go straight to the source And then also read obviously interpretations and all that. Like, it really strengthens our understanding, and we are aware of the different notions of the judgments found in there. So you basically want to follow the thread of truth that you find in these documents. Question number 5, where are you from? I am from LA. I was born in Martin Luther King Jr. Hospital. I was raised in Southeast LA, so that would be Bell Gardens, Cudahy, Huntington Park, H3 High School, and Compton and Watts. So that whole area, that's where I'm from. As far as my parents, my mom is from Jalisco, and my dad is from Michoacan. So this is Purepecha and Huichol. I'm doing my best to get more information on my family tree. But as you can imagine, colonization has transplanted us and has relocated us. That is really hard to follow the trail of where you come from culturally, ethnically, as far as Nicantlaca identity, which is why I feel so comfortable with the term Nicantlaca, because it really helps me just embrace being indigenous, even though it's real complicated to find myself specifically. But I'm learning, you know, I'm learning, I'm deciphering, and I'm studying that part of my individual history. Okay, question number 6. How do you feel about having published your book and it being read in a state university? I feel honored. I feel grateful. I feel amazed. I can't even say it's a dream come true, because I never dreamt that. Like, I was just happy. My dream was to publish a book. My dream was to just leave a marker, you know, of my little thoughts or whatever. And so when I learned that my book was being used in as a text in a Cal State college, university, I was like, what the heck? Like, I told the professor, can you email me the syllabus? Because I wanted to see this myself. And there it was. And it's an honor, because I was like, you know, I don't have the degrees, I don't have this, like, I'm not where I want to be, I don't know, like, people are going to get it. And you know what? It's been beautiful. It's been a beautiful experience, because I basically gathered poems that I've written over the last 20 years. And I have pictures in there, I have graphics in there. And the reception of it has been so beautiful. Like, I feel more than grateful. I mean, if 20 people read it, I'm happy, you know? So it's been very beautiful, been very motivating, very inspiring to continue my writing. And which leads to the next question. What will your second book be about? Okay, so my first book is poems I wrote over the last 20 years, right? And images and graphics and all that. My second book, I really want to focus on short stories that focus on different experiences and observations that I've had regarding identity, regarding growing up in certain places, witnessing certain things. And I think there's so much power in the narrative. There's so much power in storytelling that it really, I think, validates and it really confirms the experience of being colonized in a way that we connect with, because it's a daily habit, it's a daily encounter, it's a daily battle, right? And so anyway, so it's going to be more short stories. I do want to do photography on there. I do want to add some graphics in there, but definitely going to be short stories. Question number 8. What are your future projects with Nicantlaca Women Warriors and Nicantlaca University? Oh man, oh man. Okay, so projects with Nicantlaca University, I am starting, I'm working on. I would love for it to be an actual, right now it's an online university. I'm trying to offer resources for people, different topics, different presenters. But what I would love to do is actually interview Nicantlaca historians and talk about the information, the newest research. I would love to start a series of Nicantlaca University courses at different colleges throughout, for now, California, and have different historians present different aspects of Nicantlaca history. That's a big thing that I'm working on right now. So wish me luck, you guys. I'm hoping to get this ready. Like I said, for now, it's an online YouTube video source, but definitely going to be expanding it with historians. And I want to make it as Nicantlaca focused as possible, but I'm open to ideas. So if you guys have any suggestions, shoot them my way. Question 9, is it true that you are no longer a member of Mexica movement? Yes, that is true. As of August of last year, after being suspended, well, I never knew about the suspension until after, but I was basically suspended for unfriending a white savior whom had repeatedly disrespected our members and the organization. And that was just, to me, the last straw, because there's a lot of experiences that I went through in the Mexica movement in the last 20 years. And I'm always going to be grateful for the knowledge. I'm going to be grateful for the awakening, but I'm not going to be grateful for the negative, the abuse, and the other sexism that I experienced in there. And if you guys are interested in reading a super long letter about my grievances and the whole process of how I left the organization, I will provide the link underneath this video as well. So I don't like to talk about it on here because I figured if people want to know, they would read this letter. And life goes on. My decolonization continues. I am working on projects. I've been doing this for 20 years and I will continue doing it for a lot more hasta que me saquen este planeta. Okay, and the last question's, any advice that you give to people who are barely starting their decolonization journey? Yes, my advice to you is love yourself. Love yourself through this process. Let me tell you, because it is so powerful that you can get caught up in the emotion of it, in the jadedness of it, in the frustration of it, and it just seems so massive, right? And I would say love yourself, be compassionate towards yourself, be patient with yourself, because believe me, when you're learning this, you're like, what the heck? Like, you feel guilty, you know, you're like, what the fuck, all this time I've been doing this, and all this time I've been told this. And so please, 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 as you're starting your journey of decolonization, love yourself, be kind to yourself, and also be kind to others, because I know this happened to me, and I'm guilty as fuck for this. But, you know, when I started learning my history, I felt like bien chingona. Like, I was like, yeah, you know, I know what's up, and this and that. And I was very dogmatic, very militant. I meant well, but it was like annoying. And I have grown so much, thank goodness, from that little 15-year-old girl that I was. And so I would say try to always remember your own ignorance. Always speak your truth. Always be compassionate towards yourself. You really have to be compassionate, because the decolonization journey, it's multi-layered, it's multifaceted, and it impacts everything in your life. Everything in your life is impacted, because every day, and also know that decolonization is not like a 5-step program, you know. It's not like, okay, you know, you're completed 10 steps, you're good. Colonization is ongoing, because every day we're being colonized, so we're decolonizing. It's like a interactive process. And I just want you to love yourself. I just want you to really love yourself. I want you to take care of yourself. I want you to know that the message that you have, the knowledge that you have is valuable, that you matter, that you're valuable, that your words matter, that you count, that you're important, and that your voice and your message and your education and your knowledge is valid, and to spread it, you know, however way, whatever talents you have, whether it's music, whether it's art, whether it's writing. Like, please, you know, we need all the warriors out there to wake up, to decolonize, and to really share this knowledge, you know, because 500 years of colonization and white supremacy, it's deep, you know, it's really deep. And the more of us that wake up, the more of us that participate, the more of us that speak our minds, the more of us that lend our talents to the decolonization of all of our people, the more beautiful, the more complete, the more thorough our decolonization will be. So with that, question 10, I will end this video. I want to say thank you. I want to say tlasogamati to all of you who have shown support all these years, all of you who have liked the video, who have shared the video, who have talked about the video, who anything regarding this channel. I am very grateful, and I am excited for what's to come. I am excited for the next book. I am excited for the Citlalli University and the lectures on there. And I'm excited to continue more of these videos. So please let me know if you have any more questions or thoughts or whichever. And I'm going to be doing a part 2 to my Q&A. So this is the end of my first Q&A ever on January 14, 2018. Yeah. And so yeah, so that's my first Q&A. Stay tuned for the next one. Until then, stay strong, stay beautiful, decolonize, and remember, love yourself through the process.